Morning on the watch list. It's Wednesday morning here. Good to see you guys with me. Maybe a few of you guys can file in. There's something very specific and depressing we got to talk about today. It happened weeks ago. I'd heard about it for about a week and a half, and I didn't really want to talk about it. I didn't want to. I didn't want to talk about it. What's going on, Cindy? What's going on, D Deck 76? How you guys doing? Most mornings, I wake up in a good mood, feeling okay. Even though we have to talk about the devastatingly depressing things that we always talk about all the time when it comes to American politics and generally society. I hate that we like to mesh society with politics. They're two very different things. Now, they affect each other, of course. Our political leaders affect our policy, which goes towards our society. But when something's happening in our society, it shouldn't be just deemed politics, because politics a lot of times is fake. This is very real, and it keeps happening. Good morning, Vincent Morales. How you guys doing? I'm not that great, but as I was just detailing here, Raiders, he says, we'll see. Rainbow Wyvern, how you doing? As I was saying, it's not the best morning, but it hasn't been very good mornings for the family of Sonia Massey, who was killed by police in Illinois. You guys probably saw from the title of this live we're going with. And as I was saying, I don't even like doing these things because we have to keep highlighting the way folks are murdered by people in the positions of authority in our country. So we'll go through this whole thing again. And by the way, in going through this whole thing again, we're only going through this whole thing again because once every year or two, there's one that gets highlighted and promoted and talked about and gets the attention of bigger, attorneys and prosecutors going after these cops that kill people. I'm sure you guys saw. So we're talking about Sonia Massey. Let me start with what her family was saying about what happened to her. Maybe many of you guys saw this, but if you didn't, this is what happened. I'll tell you in a second after we go to what her family said.
But you know what I want? I want justice for my baby.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Amen. Amen. Amen.
So the people of Sangamon County have been great. But I want to tell y'all, the sheriff is here is an embarrassment. Because this man should have never had a badge. He should have never had a gun. He should have never been given the opportunity to kill my child. Because he had some serious blemishes on his record.
He's not talking about the officer. He's talking about
this man had 2 convictions for DUI.
Or maybe some of the
had a conviction for driving under the influence. And he was a member of law enforcement. My Lord. What an embarrassment. What an embarrassment to this country, to this county.
There was the family of Sonia Massey. Let me bring it back to at least them on the screen. Family of Sonia Massey, who was murdered in Springfield, Illinois, by a cop and his partner who didn't give a damn. So they went up in her home. This sounds familiar. She called them there, actually called them because she was concerned about potential intruders. She heard someone potentially outside, was concerned. We're taught from a young age to call the police when you're in trouble or you're fear for any help. She did that. She was 36 years old, and the help was the intruder and murderer eventually. So we can go through some of the details. Sure, why not? Let me share this one, you guys. Sorry, I'm not moving all quick and sprightly right now because of what we had to continue to do over and over and over and over and over and over again. So Illinois authorities have released this shocking video that shows a white police officer in Illinois shooting a black woman who called police in fear of a home intruder, shot her in the face and killed her. Sonia Massey, she was 36, as I pointed out, was killed in the early morning of July 6th. The officer's name is Sean Grayson, Illinois sheriff's deputy. And Massey, whom her daughter confirmed was paranoid schizophrenic, had called police because she thought someone was trying to break into her home. And when they arrived, they began looking into her home with flashlights. A neighbor, whose name is Cheryl Evans, told The Guardian all this was going down. She wondered why police hadn't knocked on the door, as they typically have done in the past when searching for suspects. Eventually, Grayson, who is white, the cop, and his partner entered the home and they began speaking to her. And when they got to speaking to her, she seemed a little bit off, maybe not completely connected to what was happening. At one point, they asked her what her last name was. She paused and he said, "It shouldn't be so hard for you to get that." Again, this is someone who called you. And this little woman called you. You should see the size difference between her and these cops. Matter of fact, I also don't like showing the videos of black folks being murdered by law enforcement officers because they hadn't shot anyone in a while. And usually it will be shown so you can bring more attention to these types of occurrences so people maybe can understand what's happening. But we're about, well, whether it's Rodney King was in 92 or something, maybe 91, maybe even 89. Doesn't matter. It was late 80s, early 90s when Rodney King happened. That was one of those first videos of someone being assaulted brutally by police was captured on tape, and it led to riots and everything like that. So we don't need to keep showing videos of cops killing black folks to understand that cops kill black folks for absolutely no reason many times. So what is the reason that we still show it? What's the reason that we still show cops killing black folks for no reason? So that maybe some folks get the rocks off over it. Because the people that understand it happens already know it happens. But what has happened since? Do they show it in Congress when they're legislating? Do we show it in local law enforcement training videos to say this is what you don't do because you have a badge and a gun, and for some reason people think that gives you the authority to kill them? So as you drive by in your car that says protect and serve, and you roll up and you completely disavow all those words and run up in someone's house and automatically feel like they're a threat. By the way, this is over a pot of boiling water that they told her to go take off of the stove. Fine, I'll show it. What is it? Let's a little bit more. What does this happen? There was initial discussion about her driver's license, and Grayson spotted a pot of boiling water on the stove and ordered her to go remove it to avoid starting a fire. And then as she did it, he goes, blah, 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 blah. Fine, I'll run the video. Before I get to it's body cam footage, by the way, and the officer who shot apparently turned his body. I wonder why he did that. I wonder why they have the option to do that. Here, let's watch this. By the way, the actual shooting of her is blanked out here, but it's still pretty trauma-inducing to watch them build up their process for murder. How much smaller she is than them.
Nothing. I just wanted to
Look
see
at the
if
size
help.
difference.
What do you want help with?
Huh?
What do you want help with?
I heard somebody outside.
Yeah, we checked your house. We checked your backyard. I walked all the way through all these backyards. We checked your front yard.
We didn't see nobody.
Yeah,
So.
nobody's out here.
You didn't see anybody?
Nope.
Oh.
We checked the whole area.
Okay.
What took you so long to answer the door?
Oh, I was trying to put on some clothes, sir.
This
I'm
is my-
sorry. I was trying to
the
get
house.
Gotcha. All right. Is there anything else we can do for you?
Huh?
Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Doing all right mentally?
Yes.
Sure.
So he clocked there's possibly something wrong. He clocked it before going in the house. You see some things in disarray. Maybe that's a sign of someone maybe using hoarder or something along
What
those
is your
lines.
last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name. You're not in trouble. I just need to text.
Massey.
Huh?
Massey.
You have an ID that make things so much easier.
You just have that stack right there, maybe.
1 second.
Check on her.
Let me get this.
No, we don't need a fire while we're here.
Right. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from the hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
Rebuke you in the name
You
of
better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot! Bring emails now. We got a headshot wounded the female. Headshot wounded female. 1078. Fuck.
I was on.
So I was pointing out his body cam was on. I guess it's that last cop, but the one who shot, I guess, 3 times at her face, shot her just below her eye, and it exited apparently out of her neck. Body cam was suddenly off. Weird how that works. It's almost like he knew what he was planning to do. We can't get into his head, but we do know what he did and why. Because he wanted to kill someone. Because he was threatened by a pot of water 6 feet away from him from this small woman who called them over to help her because she was concerned about a potential intruder that she thought she heard outside. So, this guy apparently went to jail. His lawyer said he shouldn't be held on any bond. We should let him out and all that stuff. But he's a menace to society. He's a threat to folks. We don't know which folks, women, black folks, humans in general, people in the Springfield area. Who knows? This guy likes to kill people. He's a murderer. And apparently had a couple of DUIs, according to her dad, who was speaking off the top there. But this is what we have to continue to deal with. And for every one of these you guys see, trust me, there are 20 others that you don't see in different scenarios, outside of someone's home, inside someone's home, on the street, inside someone's car, stepping out of their car, walking in the grocery store. Who knows? Who cares? If they have the taste to kill, they will kill. Why is it we talk about these terrorists entering the country from our southern border and coming to kill your children and bring fentanyl into their homes and all this stuff that we like to talk about? Because now we're crossing into the political part, since we, like to separate what policies are made by politicians, which affect our society, which happens in things like this. But then when they talk about how they want to protect your children and your families, how much protection is coming from these folks? This woman who had kids, and has a family. They don't care. They don't care, bro, because they're not the right kind of people in our society. If they'd like to refute that statement, they can prove it by stop doing this type of stuff. But they don't, because they think no, not enough people care. So if someone brings up something about police brutality and how we want different approaches to how a law and the crime is addressed in our communities, and you say, well, the police morale is going to go down. What's their morale at right now? They look pretty amped up and happy there. They look like they're energized and their hands ready on their guns immediately over a pot of water from I don't know how small this lady was, over a smaller woman than them, holding a pot that they asked her to go take off the stove. Where's the morale now? What's the morale of her family at right now? Which is never going to change from now on. Seeing how your family member was brutally murdered in her home, fearing for her life, on the floor, cowering with her hands over her head, trying not to get murdered. This is the type of thing you see on crime shows where we depict the replaying of some woman being attacked in her home by an intruder who came in and killed her. And her last words were concerned about how she doesn't want to die. But that's done by some guys in uniforms with batons on their hips, flashlights, and guns, and a badge. What is the difference? Because that guy goes home, takes off his uniform and gun, and gets in some sweatpants and a t-shirt like any other intruder might do. It's running up in our house. What's the difference again? That we allow them to do this type of stuff, that we condone it, and all of them aren't caught on video, and all of them aren't then uploaded, and Benjamin Crump can't represent everybody. But when he does, I'm sure a significant percentage of our society goes, oh, there goes Benjamin Crump again. Well, there goes another murdered black person again. There goes another white cop, or I don't care what background the cops got, because we got Hispanic cops that have done it, we got black cops that have done it, we've got Asian cops that have done it, and we got white cops that have done it. Because our society, not our politics, likes to allow this type of stuff. And at some point, our society gets tired of it. When our society gets tired of it, our society takes to the streets. And then when our society takes to the streets, that's when the politicians come out. Weird how that works, huh? Politicians have nothing to do with it beforehand. But once society finally says, a significant subset of our society says, yo, we're tired of this. You're not going to come and kill my sister, my mother, my daughter in their homes. I'm not waiting for that. We're going to change this. And we got to put some pressure on the people who change the way our laws work and change the way policing works. So maybe it'll stop happening, or happen at a much, much, much lesser degree. But we're not doing that because we don't want to bring politics into this. Politics are in it all the time because politicians and the laws that they pass control our lives and the end of Sonia Massey's life. So when cops get fired from a department for assault, maybe they went outside of the normal rules and they finally got caught after doing it 6 other times. It was covered by their superiors and their buddies. So when they finally do get caught, maybe some get fired. You know what they do? They go right down to the next county and apply for the next job, and they go, oh, you have a long resume for doing police work. Oh, but you were fired from your last one for assault and breaking all kinds of rules and thinking that you're above the law. Come right in, we got plenty of those here. So if you hear people start to complain about maybe she didn't follow the rules, maybe she didn't follow the protocol and the police orders, she didn't have to. First of all, she's in her house and she called them there. We did this same kind of story multiple times when we used to do a live watch list. There was a Latina lady, came outside, was going through a mental health crisis. She had a knife in her hand and they shot her as many times as they could consider in the corridor of her house. I think it was like her family member called the police because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do. So they called in what they thought would be professionals that are supposed to know what to do. Not to come in and go, I'm not taking a boiling hot water in my face, because that's what this guy said, Grayson. I'm not taking a boiling pot of hot water in my face. Oh, well, you could leave it on the stove and shut the F up and get your ass out of our house. So we have discussions about how to change this, because again, if we just talk about this, run the video, and then go, what are we going to do? Nothing gets done. That's why people start petitioning. That's why there's advocates for things. There's advocacy work. You know, all those things that politicians say is people getting paid just to rile up society for some money. Society is people that are mourning the death of their daughter and their mother and their sister and their aunt. Is that riling up society, or did the police rile up society by shooting her in the face after saying, I will shoot you in the effing face? It's like he made the promise and then carried it out while she's cowering on the floor because she was a threat to him with a pot of water that was on the floor, I guess, maybe back on the stove. Who knows? She was trying to save her life. So we're going to talk about police morale and whether or not, if we tell police to not murder people indiscriminately, how they're going to be depressed. Yo, if that's the reason you took the job, maybe you should get into accounting. I don't know. You shouldn't get to take a job where you satisfy your bloodthirst by taking the job and then going, well, this is a lady. I see she has a messy room. I see she seems to be a little bit paranoid right now. No one will miss her. And just murder her. No one will miss her. She fits the description of someone that I don't think is a worthy member of our society. Let me murder her. Let me show you guys something else, because we talked about this. I talked about this again back when I did the live watch list. It's the very same. It might be the very effing same article. Check this out. This is from USA Today. Let me get back to this, you guys. So as we saw more people getting murdered running, because it doesn't make a difference with that. There's a program that they were implementing in the Denver area. It was called the STAR program, launched in June of like 21 or 20. It must have been 2021. And it had some promising results in the 6-month progress report for it. The program aims to provide a person-centric mobile crisis response to community members who are experiencing problems related to mental health, depression, poverty, homelessness, or substance abuse issues. Now, previous to that, the 911 operators in Denver only directed calls to police or fire department first responders when someone had something similar to what happened with Sonia there. So the support team is called STAR, as I pointed out, and they were called because they're groups of people who work with folks maybe suffering from a mental health crisis. Maybe they do have a diagnosis. Those cops asked her, "Have you been taking medication?" They just guessed. They figured maybe she had that issue. They're cops who aren't trained, I assume, in assessing someone's mental capacities or their crisis points, and these would be people who are trained in that and maybe how to help talk to someone and ease their minds or get them out of the crisis that they're experiencing. rather than it being answered with guns. And I'm not going to take that hot water to face. So when there's discussions about defund the police and people get all offended and clutch their pearls, and I can't believe you want to defund the police. Well, you know what we're sending tons of our money to? Police officers that murder members of our society. They're defunded of their lives, but we're concerned about these cops being defunded. And by defunding, I mean reallocate funds to things that actually help members of our society. What do we pay taxes for? So we can get some help. 911 is free, but we all pay for it because we pay taxes. So since you call this free service to get some help from members of your society that have the authority to help you, because if you call your cousin down the street, hey, come around, bro, because I think I hear someone outside the house, and then your cousin Jim shows up with his gun and he's searching your backyard and everything, there's going to be a neighbor that says, there's a person in the backyard with a gun. And guess who gets shot by the same cops? Jim does. So you're supposed to call local law enforcement who have the authority and badges and guns in uniform to do something about the problem that you're experiencing. But when they come to do something about that problem, they become the problem. So who do you turn to? Who do you turn to? Everybody who's concerned about defunding the police and offending the police and getting their morale down, give me that answer. What are they supposed to do? What was Sonia Mass supposed to do that night? Because she thought she heard someone outside. Maybe she did. Maybe she did. Maybe she's a paranoid schizophrenic and she still heard someone outside her house. Maybe she's a hoarder and she still heard someone outside of her house. Who knows? Because the cops checked for a second. No one was there, as they pointed out, and then they're ready to leave. I'm not sure what happened between them saying that they're about to leave and then them walking in her house and starting asking for her ID and flashing flashlights into her room. Searching for who? I don't know. Maybe the person that they thought was the intruder in her house? Did it seem like that was the energy that they had there? Or was it, show me your ID, take that hot water off the stove? Yo, if somebody's in the house, they might be right behind you. So what do we do? I'd like those answers. I'd like for maybe some reporters, maybe some folks near some legislators in Congress that like to complain about the defund the police movement that didn't ever effing happen, by the way. The people that were complaining about that for political purposes, since we're going to talk politics, ask them. Manu Raju, I don't know, he gets access to these guys all the time. Yo, what should people like Sonia Massey do when the cops show up and shoot them in the face? At promising to shoot them in the face. What should she have done? And what should society do after they see it happen for the 1,000th time? Only seen it, but we haven't seen the million times it's happened before and during and after and today and tomorrow and next week. When is that going to change? They don't feel it should change because they don't think these members of society are worth the trouble to change the way we do things. So, but whatever the hell this a-hole's name is, Grayson, he's in jail still. He's facing his trial. I don't know. It's some middle of August, and he's hoping to be out. And I don't know. They said he has a wedding coming up in the fall. Why should we give a damn about his wedding? Why is that even mentioned? Oh, he has a wedding coming up in the fall. He's engaged to be married to his fiance. And then he went and murdered someone in cold blood. So why should I be concerned about his wedding? Oh, they put up $15,000 already for the venue. Why should we be concerned about any of this? Should Sonia Massey's family go, oh, you murdered our daughter and our mother, but he's getting married. I want you guys to, like, we read this stuff, we see them say it, but we don't stop and go, what? He's getting married? You know who's not getting married? Sonia Massey's not getting married. You know who's going to be at their wedding and going, I wish my mother was here? Sonia Massey's children. And then they're going to think about this day every day of their life. But Grayson is sitting in jail trying to figure out why he's not out for murdering someone. Let's just keep putting it in the stark terms that it is, because we like to gloss over it, that it's not a big deal. He murdered someone with a pot in their hands that he told her to take off of the stove. because he didn't want the house to set on fire. Oh, it's a good thought. You don't want the house to set on fire. And after the house doesn't get set on fire, he's then concerned about a boiling hot pot of water. Sorry, I've been ignoring everything you guys have been saying. So this is where we are in our society. Are we willing to change it? Because, by the way, Republicans in Congress and in the Senate will still talk about the riots that happened in 2020. They'll still diminish and disparage the name of George Floyd and anyone else that was murdered by cops and say, well, what was he doing wrong? So when people take to the streets, it's understand the reason is not because, oh my God, I can't believe this white guy shot this black woman. I want revenge. It's, yo, we're tired of this. Because apparently members of society can't get tired of things, but cops can get tired of a boiling hot pot of water that's being held by a little woman who called them there. So as far as I'm concerned, they rioted all through her house. Just those two cops. They rioted all through her house. Flipped things over, shot her in the face, and then said, I don't care. She's dead. Who cares? Because that was part of what they said afterwards, at least the one who shot, because his partner said, where's the medical kit? What's going on? It was a headshot. Who cares? That's where I shot her. Who cares? She's already dead. So, but they'll be offended if you tell them that we need to reallocate funds to, by the way, that whole STAR program that I was talking about that was happening in Denver. I'm not sure the status of it now. It was 3 years ago. I'm not sure the status of it now. But it was actually proving to be helpful. There was results. It was actually, oddly enough, there was numbers behind it that point out that there was fewer violent interactions between members of society and police officers because of this program. But, you know, we can't do anything like that because we don't pay attention to numbers. We don't pay attention to smart people. We don't pay attention to helping members of our society because some just aren't worth it. But I guarantee you, if Sonia Massey wasn't paying her taxes, that member of society would suddenly be worth it to get a visit or some letters and some collections from the IRS. I guarantee you, she'd be a worthy member of society then to be clocked for not paying taxes. I get this odd feeling that may happen. She's not paying. She's on their radar. She gets shot in the face by a cop who says, I'm going to shoot you in the effing face. Is it who's concerned? Okay. Hey, Sarah, Layla. She asks, would I ever be a guest on Indisputable? I was a guest on Indisputable many times. It was a little harder as I was doing my live show because it happened, I think, just after John's show, which was followed me. So there was always stuff happening throughout the day. It was a little tougher. I love Rashad's show. And you have to think about the kind of mental toll that it weighs on people that have to look at this and talk about this stuff all the time. Because, you know, after I finish talking to you guys about this and getting angry like I've had for the past half hour, I'm gonna go back to my family. I'm gonna go back to my computer. I'm gonna continue on with my life. But if for the family of Sonia Massey, who lost her life in this kind of way, imagine what they're doing right now. Imagine what they're thinking and doing when members of our legislature then go. When people like this is separate, it's more of a gun issue, but I can't stand the guy. When people like Tim Burchett from Tennessee says, we're not going to do anything about it, but we're not going to do anything about it. Why are we voting for that guy? Have you ever heard of any customer-oriented service where let's say we're not going to do anything about that? If you go to Subway damn sandwich shop and you say, you know what, I'd like some extra jalapenos on that and some extra cheese, and the 20-year-old behind the counter goes, we're not going to do anything about that. You turn around and you leave. You go, I'm not giving you my business. You don't deserve my money. But we'll continue to pay these guys salaries, pay for their more cars and their expensive equipment and bigger guns and shields and body armor and batons and tasers and all that, and attitude, which we pay for them to have, because we have no other choice. Land of the free, huh? I just want to keep pointing out to you guys how we continue to have this thought process in this country to tell everyone that we're the best in the world. And we use all that energy to tell everyone and boast about how we're the best in the world. And instead of actually doing something about it, instead of actually being the best in the world, we like to talk about how we're the best in the world. If we use 10% of the energy that we use to build up the gumption in our stomach to say we're the best in the world at everything, than to try to actually be the best in the world and use our resources and our power and our money to be the best in the world at anything, we might be near the top. Bro, man. So another person was killed by cops. We'll all move on until finally we don't. Then after we don't move on, then we'll be deemed criminals and rioters and anti-American and hate America. Look at that flag burning. So they'll keep doing it until someone finally discovers that we need to get people out of positions of power that do it. And I guess we need members of society that aren't just as bloodthirsty as cops are. That's half of our problem. Our society is just as bloodthirsty as they are. Okay, thanks you guys. I think this has been long enough. I'll see you guys later. There's a lot going on today. If you guys enjoy what's going on the watch list, I like doing these lives with you guys. Maybe I'll start extending further. I'm going to try to have maybe guests on. I like to have discussions because ranting at you guys like this isn't always the most therapeutic. Maybe there's other perspectives and points of views that I'm missing. Maybe there is. Maybe there's something that I missed when it comes to this. And maybe someone has that perspective that I'm missing. But I'd like for them to maybe look at Sonia Massey's father and her kids and tell them, look at them in the face and tell them, I don't care. I don't care at all. She's not worth it to me. Officer Grayson is more important to me. And his damn wedding is supposed to be in the fall. Officer Grayson should never be married unless it's over the phone through a plexiglass talking to his fiance. Okay, thanks you guys. By the way, if you guys like everything that's going on there, no, Jules T, there's not a set hour for the watch list. I jump in when something is on my mind enough to do it. And this was on my mind. I went to bed last night looking at more details that I was avoiding for a couple of weeks over this. And I didn't sleep well, partially because of it. And I woke up in a bad mood completely because of it. So there's not a direct one, but I'm going to try to start creating that, you guys. I'm put some more structure to these types of things because I miss talking to you guys. I miss getting into the direct conversations about this. But we do videos every day. Some set pre-produced. I'll put these things together a lot of times with some video evidence talking about many of the political things going on in our society, in our world, particularly as we're going in this presidential race. So a few more of those will come up today. If you guys enjoy what we're doing, of course, you guys let your friends know. Make sure you get some notifications there. Come back, check us out. Things are all over the page. Come check us out even right now if you like what's happening. But I will be doing more of this, and I do want to do more interactions with folks. I'm gonna reach out to some of my favorite folks that I did some panels with and shows with, and we'll have some more discussions, you guys. Looking forward to talking to you guys more later on. But let's get some justice here. See you guys.